Not too deep. A very big misconception is that you need to be at least 4 feet or as deep as possible. There are some problems with this statement. Generally speaking, a standard 4x4 column or a 6x6 column has a total length of 10 feet. What about the high ground section? This is a mandatory requirement set by the building code as well as the law. In Toronto, this height cannot exceed 6 feet. That is exactly the reason we refer to this board as the fence board. It's 6 feet long. Then we add a 2x4 roof on top of it, plus a little bit of this fence post. This is the head of the pillar. In that case, the height of the floor must be about 6.5 feet. The height of the post is about 6.5 feet. Then the underground part. The maximum depth of the underground part must not exceed 3.5 feet, allowing for basic calculations in mathematics. In light of our past encounters and observations, essentially speaking. In the Toronto area, it's about 3.5 feet below 3 feet. This depth is already enough. Because if you go below 4 feet, the portion above ground should not exceed this height. The dominant section of the fence at an elevated position can't be guaranteed. This is a very important issue and a common misconception. This is a major misconception. Of course, at the same time, we must emphasize that this column must be deep enough. That is, as we said earlier, it must be below 3 feet, about 3.5 feet. The depth may vary based on the circumstances in question. Depending on the type of soil and conditions, the growth of plants can vary. Moisture in the soil. Look at this. The fence is located at the intersection of 16th Ave and McCowan Ave. See if I'm strong enough. I pulled it out. The posts on this fence don't go down deep enough. Just 1 year. The owner asked us to come here to help him to redo. So the previous constructor was mentioned as highly skilled. Under the column, this hole is just over a foot, less than 2 feet. And there's another part that says, this column, the concrete needs to be elevated above the ground surface. This is the second misconception in this regard. This post. These manufacturers, on the top of the post, has a clear, that is to say, the height of this column is such that it is capable of reaching the ground and making direct contact with the soil. So there is absolutely no need to use that cement to raise the ground to protect the column. So you may ask, most of the columns follow the soil from the bottom. What is the cause of this break in the contact? I can tell you. The main force of the fence comes primarily from the lateral direction. So, whether it's the wind or the rain, the fence experiences a perpendicular force acting in a sideways direction. Then it's connected to the bottom. The strength of the pillar concealed beneath the ground surface with great force. Where is the point of combination? The column at the fence's bottom contains the object. Then this part is the most stressed. Conceivable. The force is pushing from the side. This part of the ground is the cement working as it was before. The post likely creates stress given that it is surrounded by what appears to be a wrapping. That's why this part breaks off. We have accomplished a substantial amount of restoration on the fence. We've done a lot of repair work on this part of the fence. What is the problem? It's not just soil erosion. It's not just because of soil erosion on the wood, but mainly because it's always subjected to stress. The wooden material will eventually reach a point where it fractures. Here is the dilemma. This original text contains 23 characters. Doesn't come entirely from... It's not entirely the contact between the wood and the soil that creates the problem. This is the second misunderstanding.
Yes,
Well, what's the trouble is?
You can do anything about this.
Okay, so when you did that, when? 3 years, 5
something
years?
like 3 to 4 years.
This one is the trouble. This one is trouble. It's needed to take all the cement out and build a new one. So don't worry. And this trouble is from the sonotube. You know the sonotube is only for the deck. But this one is not good. Yeah, this is the main trouble. Another trouble, I think this hole is not deep enough. So the concrete, right.
Push it up.
Right. So, okay, don't worry. I can do that.
If we can do that in sometime in spring or when the weather is permitted, I'll be
Okay,
very
thank you.
fine.
Don't worry.
This is the builder's tube that the customer... This is the contractor who gave him this tube to use. This tube! And we usually use it. This post is about using decks in tournaments. It's 4 feet long. So this implies the rows of the deck, but preserving the meaning. We usually make it 4 feet long. That center is filled with cement. Once the cement is poured, vibration is necessary to eliminate the trapped air and make it settle properly. If you do fence, if you use these paper buckets as a base for the fence, the cement will not be in direct contact with the soil. This reduces the ability of the fence to withstand the force of the soil, the capacity of the wind. The strength of the cement itself is not strong enough to support the entire fence. It relies heavily on bonding with the surrounding soil to increase stability. The use of paper buckets isolates the cement from the soil. This approach, for lateral winds, it has little or no effect on lateral fronts. Here we recommend, when choosing a contractor for your project, you should always examine their strength and qualification. As you know, in the process of fence installation, the biggest workload is in drilling holes. Like the general strength of contractors, they frequently employ this fellow Bobcat machine for hole drilling purposes. Bobcat.
It's very easy to drill these holes and they're in the right place.
The holes are round enough and big enough so that there's enough cement to fill the holes for the fence posts to the post by the fence over yonder. Then the second point. The choice of fence style is of great significance and should not be overlooked. If you opt for 4x4 posts, it ensures maximum stability. For a 4x4 post, our suggestion is to use a double-faced panel with a central seam. This boundary ensures personal privacy for individuals nearby, because it can be air permeable in the center. This can minimize wind resistance. If you are concerned about privacy, we recommend that you use 6x6 posts for your fence. 6x6? This completely enclosed filler is extremely effective at safeguarding your confidentiality. But at the same time, it's very wind resistant. A 6x6 post, then a 4x4 post. It's a little better at taking the wind. But the cost of construction will increase with increased amount of material, raising the level from a professional point of view. Whether it's a 4x4 or a 6x6 post, we recommend that you... The fence boards are arranged in this manner to ensure a sturdy installation. Double-sided laminating with a seam in the center. Paste with ventilation holes in the center. Minimizing air resistance ensures optimal aerodynamics. Extend the life of the fence. Next, we need to consider the supplier from whom we will source the necessary materials. Must choose the regular, qualified, large merchants. In the process of purchasing from the factory, quality control is very strict, especially in the column. If the corrosion treatment of pressurized handles wood and prevents moisture, it does not meet the... If the pressure treated, then it is obvious that the columns are buried in the soil. It won't take long. It will corrode. Material choice is crucial. Preserve its essence. It's very important whether you buy the material yourself or a contractor. I hope you can control the material. We need to repair any broken columns. We are currently located in Pickering, which is situated to the east of Toronto's city centre. This customer asked us to urgently repair a few columns. Because of the wind a few days ago, the columns fell down. Because the snow is thick. The slope is too steep for our Bobcat to enter because it exceeds its capability. We had to resort to manual labor in order to accomplish it. Digging holes and staking. Broken fence posts aren't just unsightly. It's a structural problem. The weight of the unsupported portion of the fence shifts to the intact posts, increasing the stress on them. Delaying repairs can cause more posts to break, or even cause the entire fence to collapse. That's why this customer asked us to come over urgently to help him repair the fence. Did you notice the broken fence posts? Is it a small problem? Think again. The additional load is the cause of the increased weight, pressing other posts, making them susceptible to breaking. Don't wait until the whole fence collapses. Fix it today. My fellow viewers, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.